Greetings to all viewers of our channel. Today we are going to tell you about one little-known but very interesting event in the history of the USA. We will talk about the Milk War, a series of events that took place in the 1930s, when dairy farmers rebelled against unfair milk prices. We will delve into the history of this conflict, learning about the causes, events, and consequences that are still little known to the general public. Part 1. Background to the conflict. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, U.S. farmers found themselves in a difficult position. Milk prices had fallen so low that farmers' incomes no longer covered the cost of milk production. While consumers enjoyed low dairy prices, farmers struggled to survive. The situation was exacerbated by the fact that milk processors and stores were making substantial profits, while milk producers were left with negligible incomes. Farmers tried peaceful means to negotiate higher milk prices, but their efforts were unsuccessful. Milk processors refused to make concessions, and farmers realized they needed to act more forcefully. Thus began the Milk War, a mass movement of farmers who decided to fight for their rights by any means necessary. Part 2. The beginning of resistance. Farmers began their struggle with blockades and pickets. They gathered at dairy processing plants and warehouses, blocked milk shipments, and staged mass protests. Farmers from Wisconsin and Minnesota were the first to join the resistance. These states were major milk producers, and local farmers suffered the most from low prices. Pickets and blockades quickly spread to other states. Farmers joined together in unions and organizations to coordinate their actions and push for fair milk prices. In some cases, they even resorted to violent methods, destroying milk to create shortages and force companies to raise prices. However, such measures were met with negative public opinion, who believed that farmers were simply trying to profit from the difficult economic situation. Part 3. Escalation of the conflict. The conflict escalated when farmers began attacking vehicles carrying milk. They ambushed trucks and poured milk on the ground or into rivers to prevent it from reaching the cities. These actions attracted media attention, and the war on milk became a topic of discussion across the country. Police and the National Guard had to intervene to protect transportation and prevent riots. One of the most famous incidents was a clash in Little Falls, Minnesota, where a group of farmers blocked a bridge and engaged in a violent confrontation with police. The clash resulted in several injuries, and many farmers were arrested. This event was a turning point in the conflict and led to increased repression by the authorities. Part 4. Finding a compromise. Under public and government pressure, milk processors began negotiating with farmers. In some states, temporary agreements were reached to raise milk prices, easing tensions. However, farmers realized that the situation would not improve without long-term changes. In response to farmers' demands, the federal government began drafting new laws to regulate farm prices. In 1933, the Agricultural Adjustment Act was passed, which provided farmers with financial support and set minimum prices for milk and other products. This law was the first step towards stabilizing the agricultural sector and improving conditions for farmers. Part 5. The legacy of the Milk War. Although the war on milk ended, its effects were felt for a long time to come. Farmers achieved a temporary increase in milk prices and attention from the government, an important step toward improving their situation. The Agricultural Restoration Act helped lay the groundwork for future reforms and support for the agricultural sector. However, the conflict also revealed serious problems in the food distribution and trading system that required long-term solutions. Subsequently, other laws and programs aimed at stabilizing prices and supporting farmers were enacted, preventing a recurrence of similar crises. Conclusion. The Milk War remains a little-known but important event in U.S. history. It demonstrated the strength of farmers' united action and their willingness to fight for their rights. The conflict also showed the need for government interventions and reforms to stabilize the agricultural sector. The story of the war on milk reminds us of the importance of distributing resources fairly and supporting those who labor to provide us with food. We hope this video has helped you better understand this important and interesting event in U.S. history. Thank you for your attention and see you soon.